Hello and welcome to another World of Warplanes video. This time we're out in the BF-110E, and I'm going to start by apologising for these replays a bit, because for some reason they just haven't loaded all the information you used to, as in it won't tell you how many kills you've got or when you get an assist, or how many players are left on each team, or the supremacy points up at the start there. Now I think about the engines also sound very quiet. So I'll just have to explain things to you. With this game, it's a 3-on-3 game, and our top tier fighter, the Focke-Wulf 190V, has just charged off into the enemy territory by itself, and it's about to die. I was thinking of going and supporting it, but I decided to shoot at this Blenheim F instead, because that's actually something I can reasonably do some damage with, without getting myself killed. Our 190V has died for nothing. And when I was pulling back to gain some altitude, assuming that the Blenheim F would try and fight with me, but it hasn't, and instead it's run off. And essentially both teams here have disengaged. So I see the 190V and try to dive on that, but it's also running towards friendly AA. And, well, since it looks like the enemy fighters are going to stick over their own AA guns, I figure I'll go and chase down the enemy ground attack aircraft, which is currently hitting ground targets right in front of me. We just saw one explode. And I think there's the Focke-Wulf coming over on my right. But the IL-2 is straight in front of me. And I come in for a pass and realise it's going to go head on with me, so I pull up, take a little bit of damage, but not a lot. And then I decided that I'd better deal with the Focke-Wulf 190V first, since it's actually a threat to me. Go head on, take away about half of its health, set it on fire, then pull away to get a bit of separation. And the Focke-Wulf 190V can actually keep up with me, but I've got a lot more boost than it. It's actually slowly gaining ground on me, but right about now it must have run out of boost because I start pulling away. So, get about 800 metres, turn around, or really it's about 900 metres, and it's foolish enough to go head on with me again, which means it dies very easily. Okay, the Blenheim F is fighting my friendly ground attack aircraft, so that gives me plenty of time to finish off this IL-2. Put a few shots in there, but I'm not going to push that attack right in since we're so close to the ground and on such a steep angle. I'd really hate to crash. Come back around and open up again, and this time I've cut back on the throttle and open up the flaps to give myself a nice long firing time and do a lot of damage. And as you all know, ground attack aircraft can be quite hard to kill, so you want to do as much damage to them as quickly as you can. I'm coming back around, and I was hoping to be able to get the kill this time. But although I'm doing heaps of damage, it just wasn't to be. It's only got 11% of its health left, so it won't be long. This one should do it. And there we go, kill number 2. And right then, our ground attack aircraft actually managed to kill that Blenheim F. So I came out of that game with 2 kills and an assist, and did, as you see, 1,000 damage, which is pretty good considering there are only 3 aircraft on the enemy team, and 14% accuracy, but as you know, as firing at ground attack aircraft, you get a very good chance of hitting them. Now this game, as you can see, it's a much larger game. 9 aside, still not huge, but you can do a lot more on a 9 side than you can on a 3-on-3. Of course, at the start of the match, I'm boosting to gain altitude. You can see there's one of my clanmates up there, and another BF-110E just ahead of me. We weren't flighted up, we just happened to be in the same aircraft at the same tier, at the same match on the same team. But coincidences happen. And this is a tier 6 match, and well, as I was playing it, I was kind of thinking that my main I've got lots of threats really. The I-210 is a high altitude turn fighter, and that could be a problem for me. I've also got the P-38F, which is basically better than my aircraft in every way. Well, in terms of manoeuvrability and speed, which are the two most important things. You've got another Bf-110E, which basically can be very difficult for me to shake off my tail if it gets behind me. And so I see the I-210's up nice and high, so I make that my initial priority. Especially since it's on the tail of the Me-410, which isn't going to be able to shake it. And the Me-410 is our only Tier 6 aircraft, so we kind of need it to do well. Open up. Well, I'm not getting many hits here. And by many, I mean none. I was stupid to try and turn with it and follow it down, but that's obviously not going to get well for me. So I break off, and I see this Heinkel 112s coming basically straight at me. Put some shots in, it breaks off, but I'm able to get the kill there. Yeah, I go into, I suppose it's an Immelman really, to try and gain some altitude and get back into the fight. See that P-38F is well away from me, but my clanmate's on its tail, and there's also a Spitfire there, and between the two of them it's going to have a very hard time surviving. There's the I-210 and I-16 up high, which are probably my major threats now, since there's no one on the tail. So I line up on the I-210, and I get a couple of hits in the dive, and a few more when it goes on to my ally's tail. So I had to pull up and shoot this P-40, but I don't get any hits. So I'll go back into a climb, try and gain some altitude, and something's shooting at me. It's the I-210. So I come around to go head on with it. And I put some shots in and ram it. Took away a lot of its health, but lost a fair bit of my own. Again, try and put some shots in the P-40, but not having any luck. You can see there my clanmates getting chased by the enemy 110E, but they're already 2.5 kilometers away from me, so I'm not going to be able to help. But well, I thought right now maybe I should try and chase them down to try and keep them in the fight, but really I'm just not ever going to be able to catch them, so I'm going to have to turn around here and go and help out my friendly F4F. And yeah, my clanmate's about to die, and he spends most of the next bit in chat, which also isn't working in this replay, criticising me, but I didn't actually realise he was talking about me because I kind of missed the bit where he mentioned my name. I was literally really angry at some random person. But anyway, coming back in, the I-16's on very low health, so I try to knock it out of the game. Sorry, the I-210, and I managed to get my second kill there. I'm coming back around to try and get this I-16, but it kills my friendly F4 before I can kill it. I come around and it's going really slow. It looks like it basically stalled there. I take away a lot of its health, but I'm not getting into a turn fight with it, and instead I'm just getting out of here. See that 110E was returning, so I decided to go head on with it since I've got more health. And well, I kill it way before it kills me. And at this point, we are actually in a 3-on-2 fight. We were briefly in a 5-on-2. And I'm just trying to escape this I-16 and chase down this Ju-87G. The other aircraft on our team's a Ju-87G as well, so we can't really expect much from it in terms of dogfighting. And odd enough that Ju-87 on the enemy team there didn't take a lot of damage from my guns there. But luckily its 37mm guns are as inaccurate as ever. I'm able to get out of its range and turn around and go back for another pass. And also the enemy I-16 hasn't chosen to come and follow us. I'm assuming it was scared off by the enemy AA, or the friendly AA. So it decided to stay in its territory rather than come into ours. And this burst is doing a fair bit more damage to the Ju-87. I managed to pick up another kill. And so now we just got to look for enemy aircraft, and we spot the enemy I-16 heading over onto the island. It's on very low health, so we should be able to kill it pretty quickly once we get there. But, well, we're not actually gaining ground on it. Mainly because I'm climbing instead of just straight chasing it down. And we lose contact when it goes behind these clouds. And when we come out, we actually have no idea where that I-16's gone. So I start doing an aileron roll, just to improve my visibility directly beneath me. But it actually turned to the right and it's way back over its friendly ground targets now. But that's no problem because we have a lot of speed built up now and we can just chase it down essentially. It's 2 kilometers out. And it looks like it's coming around. I'm not sure if it spotted us yet or not, because it doesn't really seem to be making any particularly either offensive or defensive moves. It just seems to be circling a bit. But now it definitely has, and it comes around and tries to go head on with me, or at least it thinks about it. Then does a barrel roll, so avoids most of my shots. My tail gunner gets a few in there as well. Instead I'm just playing it safe and flying up and away. But our JU-87 was actually ambushed by an enemy F2A, you can see there. So instead of going after the I-16, I decided to try and hit the F2A before it can do too much damage to my ally. And maybe fortunately, maybe unfortunately, the JU-87 manages to finish off the I-16. And I come around, and the F2A decides to go head on with me, which, as you've seen in these videos, is just never wise. So I managed to kill that one as well, and that gives us the win, and my ace medal. 5 kills and 1 assist. And I said that was in a game that at one point was probably 5-on-2, and as you can see there, my team didn't do a lot. Fired a lot of shots, but only 5 of them hit, but that's acceptable at some times. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.